assume that by now you and Chris have some rapport because Chris has taken the ACASI and you've enrolled Chris. So you already know Chris, so you can get beyond that and get right down to the nuts and bolts.
Well, I'll start where I normally start.
And could you time this for us, Erica, please?
Sure.
All right, Chris. So thank you for going through that questionnaire with me. I know that it was kind of long, but so I hope you don't mind. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really good. Sometimes some guys that I've had in here have mentioned to me that they've never really been asked some of those questions before. Did you feel like there were any questions that you really have never been asked?
There are a lot of them that I've never been asked.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks for asking or for answering them. I really appreciate that. So let's see. We established from the survey that we just went through. So you said you're having sex with how many people right now?
What do you mean by sex?
By sex, like on the survey that we just went through, sex is going to be when I talk about sex, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to mean if your penis, right, is going into. You said you were having sex with females, so your penis is going to be going into the female's vagina. So that's penetrative sex. So that's what when we talk about sex here, that's what we mean.
Okay.
So.
And right now,
Right now, we're going to say in the last 3 months or so. How many females have you had sex with? Can you remember?
Three.
Okay.
3.
And so, do you have a regular female that you are having sex with, or so one particularly?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other two, were they just kind of one night things, or?
They weren't just one time, but definitely not my girlfriend.
Okay. Cool. Well, let's see. So you also said in the survey, and you mentioned before, right when you came in, that you had used condoms before. That's true?
I have used them.
You have used them. Okay. Do you feel like, do you use them consistently? Like every time you have sex, or?
With those other people, yes, but not with my main girlfriend.
Okay, so not with your girlfriend, but with the other people. Okay. All right. So let's see. So we know that you are using condoms with your other partners, but maybe not with your main girlfriend. You've had sex with 3 people, you said, in the past 3 months? Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's fine. You don't have to give me an exact number, but I mean, 3 is good. Okay. Cool. Well, I know that I already asked you to do this when I videotaped you. And I know that, you were kind of weirded out by that. But if it would be possible, it would be really helpful for me, because right now when I look at you through the video, I'm kind of behind the screen, so I can't really see what you're doing. If you wouldn't mind putting the condom on the model again.
Do it again?
Well, I mean, you don't have to, but it would be really helpful for me if you did. Because like I said, when I was videotaping it, I can't really see because I'm looking through the tiny little screen, so I didn't really see what you did. It looked like you did a good job, though.
Okay.
So do you mind doing that again?
Okay.
Is it okay? Okay. All right. This time I'm not going to tape you. Okay. I'm just going to look at it. Okay. So here's the model. We have pull this guy out again. I know it's funny looking, right? Okay. So did you want to pick out a condom to use? We have lots of different types.
This is what I normally use.
You want to use that? Okay. That's what you're comfortable with. Then we're going to go ahead and use that one. Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for doing that again. I know it's kind of weird, right? But okay, cool. So let's see. First of all, you did a really good job. I'm going to point out a few different things that you did that were really good. Okay. The first thing you did that was really good was that you pulled the condom all the way down to the base of the penis, right here. Right. So that's really good. Why do you think it's important to do that? Do you have an answer?
No.
No. Okay. So let's back up for just a minute. And first we're going to talk a little bit about sexually transmitted infections, STDs, okay? So when you came into the clinic today, did you get tested for anything? You did? Okay. So why we're doing this study, and I explained this to you a little bit in the beginning, but why we're doing this study, the whole idea behind the study, is to develop an education program. so that teens, such as yourself, will maybe be inspired to use condoms correctly. Because a lot of people use condoms, but they might not always be using it in the right way, and consistently. So like I said before, consistently means all the time, all right? So why it's important to try and use condoms consistently and correctly is that you want to try to prevent sexually transmitted infections. So do you know what sexually transmitted infections are? Okay. Chlamydia, gonorrhea, and an important one to think about is HIV. Okay. So we'll get to why that relates to rolling the condom down to the base in just a minute, all right? All right, so if you can see on the wall here, I have a couple posters that we developed. There's one specifically I'd like to call your attention to right here, which is the teen HIV cases versus the ethnic distribution of teen population. Long title, right? All right, so first of all, what I want you to look at is see figure 2 right there. So that's the ethnic distribution of teen population. So what we mean when we talk about teens here is 13 to 19-year-olds, okay? So that figure 2 is showing you on the graph that 17% of 13 to 19-year-olds nationally, not just here in North Carolina, but nationally, are African American, okay? So 17%.
Those numbers are kind of hard to read, the black numbers.
The black ones on the blue. Okay. Well, in the office where I usually do this, you're sitting about 3 feet from that poster, or less. So they might be a little bit easier. But yeah, from over here, it actually is a little bit difficult to read. So maybe we should change that. So we have the ethnic distribution of teen population. We said 13 to 19-year-olds are teens, 17%. Now, if you go back and you look at figure 1, right, and let me just warn you, the coloring on this poster is a little off, but it's important to think about this number right here. So we have 17% of teens, 13 to 19, are African American. Well, then you look at this is HIV cases by ethnicity, and also in teens, okay? So here we're seeing that 72% of all HIV cases, that's people that have HIV infection, are in African Americans, age 13 to 19, okay? So, 17% of the population, but 72% of all HIV cases, okay? So, as you can see, that's a little bit of a disparity, meaning that there's a difference between how big this number is and how big this number is, okay? So, one important thing to realize, though, I'm not telling you, because I've had some people in here that look at this and they're like, oh my God, 72% of all black teens have HIV? That's not what this is saying, okay? So don't think that. It's important to know. What it is saying is that of the HIV cases, which is people infected with HIV, 72% of them are in black teens, okay? All right.
It's a little bit confusing.
It is a little confusing, and that's why it's important, to explain what that graph is saying, because if you look at it the other way, or if you think it's the other thing, it could really freak you out, right?
Yeah.
But it's still really important to understand that there is, like I said, there is a disparity there, meaning that there's a difference between 17% and 72%. So, Jude, what do you think about that? Have you heard that before?
No, I thought that all people that had HIV were generally gay.
Oh, okay. Well, that's actually not true. This graph right here doesn't reflect sexual orientation, so we don't know in those populations what percent is gay or straight or bisexual. That's not really something that's reflected there. But it's important for you to know that HIV is not just in gay people, okay? There's a lot of straight people that have HIV. Actually, the number one way that HIV is transmitted to African American females is by heterosexual sex with infected partners that are male. Okay? So it's definitely not something that just affects the gay community. It's something that affects straight people too. Okay?
I saw something on Oprah the other day that said that women couldn't give HIV to men.
That's actually not true. I'm just going to come out and tell you that's not true. Men can get HIV from women. So there's 4 ways you can get HIV, right? So you can get HIV from blood, from semen, so that's the cum that comes out when you have an orgasm, vaginal fluid, which is the fluid of a female, or breast milk. Okay? So if you come in contact